What's up, motherfuckers? Welcome back to another episode of the Low Life Motherfucking Chopper Podcast.
Get to the chopper!
The Low-Life Chopper Podcast.
What's up, motherfuckers? Welcome back to another episode of the Low Life Motherfucking Chopper Podcast.
What's up, guys? We're back.
We made it.
I just took that beer. I think I'm gonna barf. All right, we are now live. We had some technical difficulties, but we got through that shit. We're finally joined by our friend Dirtad Joe out in Phoenix. The sun's still up there.
Yeah, it's still up. It's always up here.
Love it. All right, so this is episode 242.
Awesome.
We're gonna get into the interview, but first we got some big announcements to make about the show. Loctite.
I forgot what the big announcement was.
Oh, fuck, I'll do it. You're supposed to be the hype man. All right, we got the new store just dropped.
Oh shit!
Today, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were
posted
talking
that
about. No, I thought you were talking about the Chopper show we're doing. I was like, what are the announcements?
shit. Oh no.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, there's nothing exciting there. You can skip that one.
Yeah, we can run through that. All right, listen. If you're on the motherfucking Patreon, you've been seeing these after our what is it called? Low Lives After Dark. We posted our first one last week. It was a fucking banger. This week I put out the question to see what you guys wanted us to talk about this week. We got a little bit of feedback, but we need some more for next week. So make sure if you're on the Patreon, make sure you pay attention to that shit so you can chime in and help us direct this goddamn show. For new shit, we got a merch store up. Finally, we got the merch. You guys have been asking for the merch forever. And Rhino has been hard at work, designed 5 goddamn t-shirts out the gate. So you guys have options. We got a link tree now. So if you go to the Low Life Chopper Podcast Instagram, we have a link tree. It has all the links to everything we're doing, from the Patreon to the merch store to helping our homeboy, Parker Ryan. It has everything you need for the show is all in that one place. So get over to Low Life Chopper Podcast on Instagram. Check out the link tree and support however you can. What else? Do we have something else new for the show?
Let me check. I did a bunch of shit today, so I think the link tree is good. Just now we just got that single link. We got Parker at the top, so that's the GoFundMe. No update there. Big Cartel store. We got 5 shirts. Maybe we'll do coffee cups. Maybe we'll do fucking coasters. Let me know what you want. I'll slap that fucking logo on any goddamn thing.
Yeah, whatever you want. Weed pipes, crack pipes, fucking, we got you.
Low Life branded crack pipes. We got the link to the fucking Patreon. We do have a new subscriber this week. I wanted to shout out. Actually, we got a new subscriber, David. I won't use your last name. I think it's Cannibal Nectar. We launched the store. I was just showing Loctite. I was like, I got to make sure this shit works. And then 10 minutes later, this dude bought a shirt. Yeah, so he signed up for the fucking Patreon.
Maybe 10 minutes.
And the first customer of the new store, David, thank you. We appreciate it. We already fucking lit up your shit on Patreon, but we appreciate that shit. And I don't know how maybe just timing. I don't know if you were just sitting on our page refresh until that fucking store finally fucking launched. But thank you for fucking picking up a shirt. And these ain't fucking bitch ass shirts. This shit ain't gonna disintegrate after you put it through the wash one time. This is Gildan 5000. This shit is quadruple stitched. Fight shirts, dude.
Fight shirts.
Yeah.
I love it. As far as that's all we got for the new shit for the show, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now onto the Chopper Show, June 10th, Epping, New Hampshire. The Low Life Lowdown. Fucking come out. Right now. There's a 40% chance of rain. Don't be a bitch ass. Ride that fucking motorcycle. It's not gonna disintegrate in the rain. You're gonna be fine. We're not getting a fucking tent. Stop being a bitch, bro. Just fucking get out there. It's gonna be a fucking time. There's gonna be live band music. Oh, I already said that. Live band music, same shit. Cold beer. There's gonna be titties. There's gonna be whatever the fuck you want at this place.
Whatever you pull out, yeah, there'll be titties, dicks, whatever you want to pull out, will be there.
Yeah,
you got to bring it though. BYO titty.
Yeah, it could be It could be fucking Rhino's titties that you see, but we'll guarantee you at least see that set.
Guaranteed titties.
We have a bunch of raffle prizes. All the proceeds of that go to Operation Purpose, which is a veteran charity. A bunch of vendors. We have best in show. We have best chopper and best club bike. It's gonna be a fucking blast. Show the fuck up. And Last Spot of Chopper Club is doing the pre-party the night before. Hit them up. It is F6T9W on Instagram for all the fucking details. They're doing live bands there as well. It's gonna be a blast. So show the fuck up.
Think we're good.
I think we got all that shit out of the way quick.
Yeah. So we can roll into this motherfucking interview with at 666 Dirty Joe. You were nominated by your friend Vaughn. You know Vaughn?
Oh, shit. Yeah. Yeah, on Instagram, yeah.
Hellfire, yeah.
Yeah. I know that was crazy when you guys told me that because I was like, who the fuck wants to know about me? You know, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting because I don't know. I just thought it was like I thought there's so many cooler people out there and shit. I was like, fuck, I'm not doing shit. I'm just hanging out on the south side, you know. So I was like, all right, I guess that's cool.
Yeah, but, he hit us up and was like, yo, you got to get this dude on. And then we started checking out your Instagram, and I was like, 100% we got to get this dude on.
Yeah, dude, just a normal dude. If that's what you do on the south side, dude, building a fucking 40 over panhead in your fucking kitchen.
Yeah, that one. It wasn't supposed to start off that long, and it just like, I was like, you know what, when I build it, I know what I want, and then I was just like, fuck it, and I didn't really think about it at the time when I was doing it. I was just doing it until one day I was like, fuck, I really have a whole ass motorcycle in my living room, you know, and I was like, fuck, I guess this is it, and yeah, so that's why I have a big ass motorcycle in my living room, and
is that front end right there for that bike?
What's that?
That front end behind you, is that for?
Oh yeah, that's right here. Yeah, this thing right here. Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's a 40 over rigid from. I got it from Mixed Chop Shop, and
no shit.
Yeah, I didn't have enough money for a Springer, but I was like, but I can afford a rigid. I was like, just make me a rigid then. And he's like, yeah, fuck it. You want a 40 over rigid? Why not? And yeah, that's how I ended up with this thing. Then I put it together in my living room, and I'm not strong enough to take it all out by myself, so I got to take it all back apart now to start building it outside because I'm by myself most of the time, so I can't take it out. So I'm taking it apart right now to start building it in the shed I have outside. So I mean that's the plan. I hope. Yeah.
Dude, so it's a 40 over rigid. There's no suspension.
No.
There's no springs. I didn't realize that. I thought it was a Springer.
Nah, that's why it's rigid. There ain't shit, dude, you know? I don't know. I've always liked how they look. And Springers have gotten kind of expensive lately. So I was like, well, it's cheaper, and I've always liked them, so why not, you know? But they do flex. There's a guy, Aaron Skip up north, and he has a sick-ass chrome Sportster, and he has like a 35 over rigid. And when you see him going down the road and that thing's just flexing, like, you just look at it and you're just like, fuck, that thing looks badass. There's just something about a rigid bike going down the road, just seeing it flex, that I always thought looked really beautiful, you know? And so I was like, well, if his is 35, I was like, mine's got to be longer, you know, or whatever the fuck, because some other guy had like a 30 or something over front end too. So I was like, well, if he's got a 30 and he's got a 30 something, then I need a 40. And so I was like, well, fuck it. So I made it 40 over. And that's how I ended up with this long ass bike in my living room.
Fuck.
Where'd you come up on that pan motor? How'd you acquire that shit?
So I got that motor from a buddy of mine, Charlie, a Nomad, and he sold it to me in payments. I bought it from him like 10 years ago or some shit. And it was like $20 here, $30 there, $100 here. And he gave me the motor, and then I didn't have enough money for a transmission. So I was like, fuck. I saved up $750 to go buy this RevTech at a swap meet. And he ran into me and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm gonna go buy this fucking RevTech." And he's like, "Dude, you're not putting that junk behind that badass motor I gave you." So he had this Cal Products like with the blower style case, you know, those little 4 speeds. They're really nice,
Yep.
but they got kind of expensive. And he's like, "Here," he's like, "Give me the 750 you're gonna give that dude for that RevTech." He's like, "And I'll give you this one. It's all fresh." And so I was like, "Fuck yeah, for 750." So that's how I got the tranny, and then the frame I got from Dan Carr from DC Choppers.
Okay.
And it's like a copy of Gold Digger pretty much, because I've always thought Gold Digger was like like to me the most perfect chopper. That's, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. So that's how I kind of put like piece this together, I guess you could say, like piece by piece.
What's Gold Digger? Who built? I haven't seen that one. Who built that one?
So like when I was a kid and shit, I used to watch like those biker build offs on the Discovery Channel. You remember that Motorcycle Mania, all that shit? And it was like, I
Oh
think
yeah.
Motorcycle Mania 4, I think, which was the one that it was. And it was this old frame, I guess he found at a swap meet, and like he ended up fixing it up or whatever the fuck. And it's his bike called Gold Digger. You can look it up. It's a beautiful bike. And that was the bike that made me want to be like, fuck, like that guy's badass. Like I had seen motorcycles before that, but I had never seen like a chopper, you know? Like back then if you had a chopper, it was some guy probably like on like this like, you know, just like a regular Harley with some Abe hangers and shit and all that. So like I had never seen like a chopper that I liked. You know, everybody was like doing like the big bear choppers and all the billet bikes we called them, you know. And then I seen that, I was like, holy fuck, that's like a different chopper. I thought it was so cool looking, and I don't know, it just like ingrained in me, and that's why I wanted to build like this specific frame. I don't know, I nerd out sometimes over
So
shit,
that you
you
said that
know.
was the West. Was it the
But yeah, that's how I ended up with this thing in
Gold
my living room.
Flames with baby blue? The Gold Digger one. That's West Coast Choppers. Is it
Yeah,
like the blue
yeah,
bike?
yeah. It was like blue with like these weird
Bring that shit.
like almost caramel looking flames on it. Yeah, it was a pretty cool bike. And then yeah, then I started building my Sportster, and it was kind of all over after that. I like to go fast, so I was like, fuck it.
Yeah. That bike is so fucking
Oh shit!
so dope, dude.
Yeah, that's the bike that kind of made me want to build a long bike one day.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
Yours is longer.
yeah.
That's what she said.
It's kind of gnarly when you look at it, huh? Like, I mean, a bike that was built that was kind of a long time ago, and you look at it and you're still like, holy fuck, that's a badass looking bike.
I think we're losing you. There you go. Now you're back.
Oh shit, can you still hear me?
So how long have you been working on that bike? Are we lagging right now?
Can you hear us, Joe?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if it had froze or what. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I think you froze for a
Can-
second.
Okay, yeah, my bad. I didn't know what was going on too. Yeah, I smoked a little bit of weed
No
before we
problem.
How
started.
long
And
you been
I
working on that?
smoked that little bit of weed.
How long you been working on that build?
Oh my bad. I don't really do the devil's lettuce, you know. But I was a little nervous and shit, so I was like, I'm gonna try it.
First time.
Yeah, today at least.
How long you been working on that pan?
Oh, dude, it's been so like, when I first started trying to get it, I was broke as fuck. It was like 11 years ago. I want to say like 10 or 11 years ago, and it was literally like piece by piece by piece. And I was like, fuck, you know, I want to build what my idea is of a chopper and shit. And it's weird because when I started, it was a long time ago, and even seeing now, like how a lot of this shit that I originally was gonna do to it, I didn't do just because, like before, to me, chopper had to have a super long front end, long pipes, and a fucking big old king and queen seat. You know what I mean? And now it's not what I want for it no more. So it's kind of weird seeing how it's changed even in the last 10 years. You know that I've been trying to build it, like just the styles, I guess, even of bikes or whatever. But like 11 years in total. It's just been hard because like it's kind of been changing on me as I go with it. Because originally I was gonna get like Invaders from Let's Sled, but I was like, fuck, that's like 2 months worth of fucking overtime. So I was like,
Dude.
all right, fuck it. But then I
Invaders
came
are
up on
no
these
joke.
these high shoulder like aluminum hub wheels, and so I was like, fuck it, I'll get some spokes, some twisted spokes, and then go get a spool hub from Bob down the street. He lives right down the street. This fool makes, or he has a shop, Bob Cycles, right there. Bob's, he's been there forever. So I was like, fuck it. I know the guy. He'll hook me up with a spool hub because he told me he would. I was like, and he'll lace up me, like he'll make me a sick ass wheel. So then like that changed, and then the fender changed because a dude, my homie Danny, gave me a gas tank that just fit the bike perfect. Like it was like it was meant to be. So then that changed the fucking fender. Now I had to change the fender. So it's just like, fuck. It's been hard because it's kind of doing whatever it wants to do. Like I thought I was going to build it and it was going to be like that. But it's just kind of done what it's wanted to do on its own, which I think it looks a lot cooler than how I originally had it planned in my mind. So it's taken me probably twice as long as it should to build it. But I don't know. We just keep going at it, I guess, till it decides it's finished.
Yeah.
I guess that's like a weird way to look at a bike build, right? But
Well, not a lot of people build a bike over the course of a decade, but that's fucking worth the wait, I would say. Like,
well, it's also because I'm broke as
piecing it
fuck,
together.
and like, yeah, because I put so much money into my other bike, and like I'm horrible with money, like fucking horrible with it. Because like I was a heavy haul truck driver, so I did all right, and I would just blow through that shit. I don't know how. It's insane. And so I would always be like, fuck, I have to save up from this check and from this check or whatever the fuck. And then, yeah, I think that's why it took me such a long time also, was because I don't have the money to just be like, oh, I'm going to go buy a fucking Panda this weekend or whatever the fuck. That's like something I have to save up for, even like a tranny or a clutch or whatever. It's just like, fuck. I mean, I live in the RV on the south side of Phoenix, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's like, fuck it. You just got to save up. But it's cooler that way, I think, because you get, like, you're kind of forced to learn how to do shit in a way. Because, I mean, fuck, when I first started, I was not mechanically inclined at all, dog. Like, like nobody in my family knows how to wrench on shit. Like, it would take my dad like 5 hours to do an oil change. So I kind of had to learn as I went. And because I couldn't afford parts, I was like forced to fix them. Yeah, that's why it's taking me forever.
It's dope though. I wish I could take 10 years to build a fucking bike. I always rush and then just like get pissed that I didn't do it the way I wanted to.
What do you got missing? So I mean, so you got the wheels, you got the frame, you got the front end.
So right now, the only thing that I'm really missing right now is that I need to change the shaft and the transmission, because the transmission shaft is the wrong size. It's the wrong shaft. And my homie Renee, my brother Renee, he lives in Cali though. He's got the shaft that I need, and I have the one that sounds gay as fuck now that I hear that a lot. But yeah, perro, like, so we're gonna take him out and swap him. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
when I get this one out, I'll send it to him, and vice versa, whatever the fuck. And then once I get that all swapped out, I can start it up. I just got a magneto from a homie. We traded some. I do polishing and shit, like metal polishing. So I traded some metal polishing, and he got me a magneto. So I'm gonna send that in to get rebuilt. And really, like once I get the magneto and I get the oil bag that I need, because I'm gonna get like a 1 gallon oil bag, because it's so hot out here. I feel like the extra quart, like shit like that, kind of helps out with the heat, like having 4 quarts, a whole gallon instead of 3 quarts. And then it's aluminum, so like that's like shit that I like to watch out here, because if you have a steel tank, it's gonna retain the heat the whole day, and your oil is gonna be cooking. And so I know that I want an aluminum tank, and I know that I want a 1 gallon tank, because when you go outside, dude, in the air, the air temperature out here is like 120 degrees at least in the summer.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, like them fucking old motors don't like that shit. It's fucking hot. They melt out here.
Yeah, for an air-cooled motorcycle. Yeah, that's fucked. Yeah. I didn't even think about that, because, yeah, dude, it gets so fucking hot. Sitting down will burn your goddamn skin off your ass cheek. You know what I mean?
I didn't know a lot of that shit either until like a lot of like just listening, just hearing shit, learning shit or whatever the fuck. Like you're like, fuck, I live in the fucking hell, it's hot as fuck here all the time.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
hot at night too. It retains the heat in Phoenix. Gets fucking hot during the day, but then it's just fucking hot at night too.
So that's why I was like, well, I'll get an oil one. And so really, I just need an oil bag. I need to stab the magneto in it and change that shaft in that transmission. And after that, dude, we're like, it's not gonna have brakes or lights or nothing, you know, but it's gonna fucking run. I was hoping to get it running here pretty soon, but I have to make an exhaust, and I just got the welder. I barely just got the welder, and it's like one of those multi-process welders or whatever the fuck. And I don't have the argon.
Got like TIG and MIG.
Yeah, it's got TIG, MIG, and stick, but I need to go get the like some argon or whatever the hell, and learn how to TIG, you know, just over a weekend, and pop it on there.
Yeah. Have you done any welding before, or you just need to learn how to?
Yeah, no, I know how to. I know how to TIG a little bit. I know how to TIG a little bit, and I can MIG pretty good. But it was just like my last welder took a shit, and we're so fucking broke. Me and this fool, we're like, fuck, we need to save up for a welder. So we finally saved up enough for a welder and got the welder. And so now that I have the welder, I'm just gonna go ahead and weld everything up. But I'm just gonna, I think I'm gonna tack everything together because I have a homie who's really good at TIGging. And so if that fool's really good at TIGging and that's what he does, I'll have that fool do all the finished TIGging on it. You know what I mean? And because my welder's cheap too, like his shit's all nice, and he's really good at it. I feel like I can make shit stick. I can get it to penetrate. It'll stick. It'll be fine, but it's not gonna look pretty. You know, I have friends that like make that shit look pretty. You know what I mean? Plus, I have a shed, so I have to weld them. Yeah, I'm doing all stainless. All stainless for the exhaust, and then so I'm gonna go all stainless with that. And then the only other thing that I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take those heads off because those are STD heads, and I have this old cornrow shovel. I'm gonna pop those on there, and then Speed and Science makes these billet aluminum heads, and so I'm gonna get Speed and Science heads and put those on there. Yeah, that's the only downfall that I have is I like to make shit go fast, you know, and I like nice parts. Like that's why I figured if you're gonna do it,
you got expensive taste.
Yeah, for a dude like me, a little bit. Fancy. Yeah, I like making shit go fast, you know. But
high maintenance.
Nah, dude, you know what? It's completely the opposite. Like a Evolution Sportster is like the most reliable motor. That's why everybody builds them. You know what I mean? Like I like 04 to 06 rubber mount Sportsters. That's my fucking bread and butter. Like a 1200, you know, they have BOXB heads on them, oversized valves. They have W grind cams in them. Like those little 1200s, you can pump them up for pretty cheap.
Wait, so you said you weren't like a race kid. You didn't grow up on dirt bikes and shit. Why
nah, not at all.
How'd you get into bikes? How are you getting into performance bikes too?
Because I've always liked going fast, but I've always been broke. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately. And so my dad wasn't.
If you're not first, you're last.
Exactly. And my dad was a truck driver, bro. And so, my dad was very unmechanically to a point, you know. But just old truck drivers and shit, just truck drivers in general. I don't know. I feel like a lot of that is just part of that culture. And a lot of the truck drivers that I used to know when I was smaller, they always used to tell me that, you know, that truck drivers and scooter trash always got along. They were always cool with each other. And so from the beginning, I was always interested in it. You know what I mean? I was you hear a loud ass bike when you're a little kid that's loud as fuck. You can't help but turn and look at it. And I was always that's cool as fuck. Yeah. And there used to be this skinhead bar across the street from my house where I lived. And all these dudes used to come in there all the time on these badass bikes. And I didn't know what the fuck they were. But I know that these dudes were old as fuck. You know what I mean? And they had some hot ass fucking chicks with them. And I was like, how the fuck do these old ass fools got these hot ass chicks, you know? I was like, I want some of that shit. What the fuck is that? And so that's how I started getting into bikes. And then I built my first bike. It was a little 650 Savage. Because I like all bikes for the most part. And so I hardtailed that, chopped that. I was very young when I did that. And when I finally was able to afford my Sportster, I got my Sportster. I met one of my really good friends. And he had this weird, you remember Fast and Furious, that weird kid Jesse that was not all there but was really good on working on cars, the kid that built the car. That was my friend basically. He was just odd as fuck, but he could build shit really weird. And he worked at a shop, And we became very good friends. And he just started. He's like, "You're really good at racing the bike." He's like, "I'm really good at building it. So why don't we just get together?" And so I was all right. So then I started racing bikes on the south side, and I got beat one time, and I was like, "Fuck this! I never want to lose again." And even though you're broke, all this shit's for free on the internet, you know? Like you can just look some shit up and they tell you what to do. Like you want to make your shit go fast, do this for the most part. And there's like a million fucking internet mechanics and other, you know what I'm saying, like on YouTube. But there's actual like legit information out there. And so like you read up on this shit, and I saved up. I went up to like Short Block Charlie did my heads. The guy's amazing, you know, like he worked the heads. We did like oversized valve. I think I have like a 1850 intake, 1650 exhaust. Like he worked the valve angles, did all kinds of crazy shit. The set of heads on my Sportster, and you just save up, you learn about it, you read about it, and it just kind of consumes you. Like you build a fast bike, and then it's very fast until it's not, you know. And you're like, all right, I need to make it faster and faster and faster, and then you start pushing shit beyond its limits, and now it starts exploding. So now you have to buy, you know, like aftermarket cases or whatever the fuck, and then you just get consumed by it. Yeah, that's how it happened to me, at least. Damn, I'm very stoned right now.
So how long you been into bikes? I guess.
Huh?
When did you start? When did you start like fucking with bikes? How many years?
Oh man, well I'm 33 this next month here, and I was already building my little Savage when I was like 14, 13. You know, hard like getting it chopped up and everything. Yeah, and then I didn't really ride it out as much because back then it was a lot different out here in Arizona. You know, you didn't see a lot of Mexican people doing that shit or whatever the fuck. And when you're younger and shit, I used to see these fools at the bar, those same dudes. And you know that shit's intimidating, especially you're some low ass Mexican kid. You're like, what the fuck? These fools like back then it was the 90s. Like if you had a face tattoo, like you probably killed somebody. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it is today and shit, where fools are just like, oh, they're like 17, all tatted up and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? But so it was scary. It was different, and they ended up being the coolest bunch of guys I've ever met. You know, like I ended up meeting those dudes, and like then I started learning the shit. I was like, all right, cool. Like back then, it was mostly shovel heads. All those fools, all those like the trashy dudes had shovel heads, you know, and you could tell because you could just see like look at the oil like stains, and you would fucking find them, you know, and that's where they would be at. You're like, oh, that's where those fools are at. There'd be a whole trail of oil shovel heads over there, all fucking beat up. And yeah, but they were the nicest group of dudes I've ever met. And then I bought that bike, my Sportster. I bought that one. I was able to finally afford that one. I think the year I was supposed to graduate, because for some odd reason I dropped out like 3 months before my graduation. I don't know why. It felt like a good idea, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm buying a bike." And then I bought that Sportster, and then I wrecked it like a week later, and I was like, "Fuck it! I can't afford to make it stock." Anyways, I didn't have insurance on it, you know. I was like, "It's gonna cost me this much to fix it, or this much to hardtail it." And so when I started chopping that one up, I decided, all right, this is gonna be my race bike, you know. But they're like, "It's a chopper. You can't make a chopper into a race bike." And I was like, "Why not?" Like, it didn't make sense to me why you couldn't do it. And that's how I made that my race bike. And then I got into like how you say like high performance motors, I guess. You know, yeah, it was a weird transition.
Is that your Sportster you're currently riding? That one with
Yeah,
the fucking,
that rusty ass one that rusty one that looks like a turd. Yeah, that's my race bike.
It's fast as shit.
Yeah, everybody jokes about it here. They are always like,
I
it's
see you
the
popping
fastest
wheelies on
horse
that shit.
in Mississippi. Yeah, it's pretty fast. Like we built this last motor, me and that buddy of mine. Um, like a lot of people, I don't know, like I always say the truth, you know, because like my buddy, he's the guy that got me into like fast bikes and shit. And me and him would always build the motors together, and he would do, like, to be honest, he would do the heavy lifting on the motor builds. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of helped him and shit and learn as much as I could. And me and Nafu started putting this last motor together, and that was that motor that we were like, you know what, we're gonna make like the fastest, fucking most reliable Sportster you can build and still ride it, because I ride the fuck out of that bike. So we went hot, but we didn't go too hot. You know what I'm saying? I made it as fast as I could, but where it will still be reliable. Like I'll ride that thing across the country and it'll be fine. My tires might
Is that
not.
a 1200?
Yeah, it's a little hot. You know, it's a little big. I don't ever tell people really what's in it because I street race with all these assholes down the street, and you never tell each other what you have. You know, I always tell people it's an 883, and they get really mad about it. But I don't, because like that's the thing about like grudge racing on the streets and shit. You know, like you want to give them enough to bait them to be like, oh, I can race this fool, but then you don't really want to give them all of it because you don't want to lose. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be like, yeah, it's an 883 because the bottom end is an 883 bottom end, technically. You know what I'm saying? So technically it's an 883. So I'll be like, yeah, doc, I got an 883. I'll race you, fool. And then you race him and he finds out you don't have an 883. And that's how it works, you see? But he's lying to you too at the same time. Yeah, that's how, I mean, that's how street racing works out here, at least, you know? Because I've gone to places and then, like, you know, they think they're racing 883 and they're like, you lied to me. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's what you do. Street racing, like, there's nothing, you know? I don't know you the truthful. Like, I'm a racer. I want to win. Yeah. I guess, I don't know. That's how it is out here, you know? But, yeah, that's how I got into street racing. I started racing that bike.
I think I saw you burn out. I think I saw you fucking go smoke a bagger or some shit at some point, right? Where you racing? Just like street racing? You're just like, yo, what's up?
Yeah, so I live right here on 40th Street, like in the hood in South Phoenix. And so like out here you can just pretty much do whatever you want. And so I live on 40th Street right behind my house. There's a spot allegedly where people I guess gather, you know, and fucking they race Sundays like from like 3 to 6. And yeah, you know, that's where it's crazy because it's a lot mostly of of like how can I say it? It's a lot of clubs, you know, basically. And they're mostly like African American clubs and shit, like dudes that I hang out with from the back here. And these dudes love the race. And so every weekend they're always like, hey, we're racing over here. And so I'm like, oh fuck yeah. And they always have good ass food and like loud music and fucking street racing, you know, and it's like, oh fuck yeah, it's a great ass time, dog. So I usually just go over there, grab a bite, hang out, have a beer at the park, relax, kick back, listen to some music, and then you know, dudes are just randomly racing all day.
I'll be the only white dude there.
This will be the only white dude. This will be right here, and yeah, it's a fun ass time, you know. It's like people take their families there. They'll have like bouncy houses and shit. It's a whole thing now, and we race there every Sunday allegedly, you know. Um, yeah, it's a pretty good time. Like that's a pretty cool little scene out here. You don't really see any choppers though racing around, you know.
So I don't want to give away too many secrets, but I think I saw Electron carburetor on that.
Oh yeah, I love that dude. Yeah, it's got an Electron like I think it's the 300 because they make like a small one, a medium one, and a big one. That's the medium one. It's got like I mean, I can tell you some of the shit. It's not like it's top secret anything, like a spaceship from NASA or nothing like that, you know. Um, it's got like fueling 580 cams in it. It's got SNS pistons, lifters, like cylinders. It's got what else has it got? The crank's been pin and welded. Everything's been isotropic polished. Like every moving part for the most part. Um, like Shoreblock did the heads. It's got a billet aluminum intake.
Shit, dude.
It's got a big old like Evolution Industries like Diamond Terminator clutch. It's like chain drive. It's got a lot of good parts. Everything's all like -6 anodized lines on it. Pingle like big Pingle Guzzler petcock because we're having issues with it starving for fuel because it consumes so much fuel sometimes. Like if you look at it when it does burnouts, you can see it compress the air like it'll compress the air around the velocity stack as it consumes it, and it looks like fog, like it's smoking. It's pretty gnarly once you get things like pushed to that point. And yeah, I think right now we're running like
holy shit.
But I think it's like almost 12-to-1 compression or some crazy shit. It's a lot of work that we've done to it, you know, but we keep it so like as streetable as we can. Yeah, it fucks. But it's just a little sports.
It does not look like it has all that shit in there.
Yeah, no,
it's
yeah,
like it
yeah,
has like a rusted
yeah,
ass tank. It looks fucking ratty as fuck, dude. I love
yeah,
that. I had no fucking clue.
yeah. No, I spent a lot of time. I've had that bike for a long time,
Wow.
and if I'm gonna build something, I've never liked when I see a really nice bike that just looks really pretty or looks very fast, but then it's not fast. See, so I'm like, I'd rather have something that looks like shit, but it's fast as fuck and it's reliable. You know, like I told the Hafley brothers, those fools live down the street from my pad, or they work down there, and I'm like, I hate you guys because you guys make bikes so beautiful, you know? Because like they're Sportster kits. Like when they came out with those Sportster kits, I was like, hell yeah! Because now they can make it. They made it like accessible to for like everyday dudes in their garage to fucking make a cool little chopper with a Sportster over a weekend, And those kits were fucking sick. Like you see a
Mm.
bike with Hafley Brothers kit, and you're like, holy fuck, that's a cool looking little Sportster, but they're always stock. And then when I try to race those fools, they're always so slow. And so I was like, fuck, they made a lot of bikes look cool. And like almost every dude I know here has like a fucking Sportster with a Haley Brothers kit. Because like I said, they're cool as fuck. And but they all have stock motors, and I never liked that. I was always like, if a bike's gonna look really cool, like it should be like fast too. You know what I mean? To me, or like I don't know. I guess just that's the way that my fucked up minds always work. Because I would see all these cool bikes, but they're just stock motors, and I don't it never made sense to me. I was like, yeah, like when you hear a bike, to me, you should be able to hear that fucking cam, like just like scary as fuck, and just I don't know, like loud as fuck, just fast, like just scary. You know what I mean? Like that's how like a chopper should be. Like that's how it should be.
You want a beer?
Yeah, I'll take a beer.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. To me, because that's what I
It's
remember
like
as
fucking
like
10 pounds of lightning in a 5 pound sack.
yeah,
That thing
exactly.
did.
And
I
I
had
think
no idea that was like an actual performance fucking chopper. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to call it that because like it looks like a piece of shit, but that's kind of the point of it. You know what I mean? That's why I started building the Panhead because I got so tired of losing the pretty looking bikes at shows all the time because I would never win. They'd be like, "That bike's a piece of shit," and I'd be like, "All right, cool," but if you really look at it, it's not. And so I got tired of always fucking losing at shows at Sportster shows in the Sportster class because I was like, man, you know what? I really like my bike because I genuinely like I love my bike. Like I love that fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's the best fucking Sportster chopper out there because it's mine. I built it. Like I know every single part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had that thing for a long time. So of course, who doesn't? I was like, I want to win, but I know that I was never gonna win anything. So I was like, I got known for being the fast Sportster guy. That's what everybody here knows me by. They're like, yeah, that guy with that rusty Sportster. They're like, don't race him because it's fast as fuck. But I was like, I can build a pretty bike too. Like, and so that's why I wanted to build this one because I wanted to build a pretty bike that's not just fast. And yeah,
So that's the bike you took down to EDR, right?
yeah, that bike's been to the last like 6 or 7 EDRs or some shit like that. That's when I was probably doing burnouts that you seen
Oh,
me
6 or
doing
7.
burnouts or
You've been.
whatever the fuck.
How
Yeah,
many
I've been to
fucking
like six or
EDRs have there
seven
been?
EDRs. I had no idea because a lot of my friends were doing it already before even I was doing it. Because I think the first one I went to was like in 2000 and it was like 2010 or 2012 or some shit like that. I don't know, sometime around that area. But yeah, it was a long time ago. I think this last one was like my fifth or sixth. Because they used to but they also used to do them every year before. It was every year thing. Now it's like every 2 years, I think, too. So they changed that like some time back. I don't know when. But I've been to a couple of those. I like those a lot. Those are fun.
Yeah, because somebody
You ever been to EDR before?
used to do the EDR before Biltwell did.
I have not been out that way.
Did you
It's
get
a
it?
long haul from New Hampshire.
Oh yeah, it's fun as fuck, dude. I'm telling you, it's a good one. It's not that far from us right here. It's like 6, 7 hours. Except when you're riding with these fools and they're breaking down the whole way. It takes all fucking day.
Not
there.
mine. Well, not till we got
It was
there.
we party, bro. Because I was doing burnouts, and this fool right here next to me, he thought he was doing a burnout too, but he was never in gear. He ended up dropping a valve, so we had to leave his bike in Mexico. We got to go pick it up next weekend.
All blacked out.
Yeah, Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, but the cool thing is that
It's still in Mexico,
I'm
bro.
Mexican, so I got family everywhere.
It's fucked.
And so my mom is from the town where EDR is at. So I called up my mom and I was, hey mom, I was like, my homie fucked up his bike. Is there any way we could leave it somewhere here? Because it's kind of dangerous over there, you know, where we're at now. And I was like, we don't want to just leave it because, like, you know, that's his chopper. We can't just leave it there, but we had to come back and work. And so I got this fool right back, called my mom, and my mom was like, yeah, you guys can leave it in the apartment, in her house. She has a little house out there. And
it's in the living
so
room.
his bike is in my mom's living room, dog, in Mexico. And then there's this other kid, North. He I don't know what the fuck happened to his shit. We had to leave his shit.
Electrical.
And my cousin has a little shop in Mexico. We had to go like hide it out in his shop or whatever the fuck, because like not like those fools will steal it, you know. So yeah, we have to go back and pick it up. This fool's bike's still down there.
Next weekend.
Yeah, we party a little too hard.
Fuck, how far away is it? How many hours?
Like 6 hours.
How many hours is it to go pick up these bikes?
Nah, dude.
Yeah, okay,
That takes 6 or 7 hours. It's not even that bad. It's not that bad. Plus, I mean, it's like Mexico. There's beer and like beaches and shit. You know, not really that bad of a deal. We'll go pick them up, have some beers.
Turn around, come back quick.
Yeah, turn around, come back, get some tacos.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta have some more of those tacos.
Go to
What was that place?
Yeah.
The one that we went to. What was that place called? You remember?
I forgot, but no, we partied pretty good, dude. It was a pretty good time. Yeah, you guys should check it out sometime. Because where are you guys at?
So you have family in the area down there then?
I got family everywhere.
Where does it go? It goes through Baja or whatever?
Yeah. You go you go through either Mexicali or like San Luis Rio Colorado, and you can cross through there. There's a lot of guys that come up, like the Mexico City boys. They come up from Mexico City to like Mazatlan, and then they catch a ferry across. I know that fool, like Danger Dan was there with like Kickstart Mike and those fools. And they went on like the Desperado run, I think, where they went through like the main part of like Mexico and then like cross into like from Baja. So all kinds of people go all kinds of different ways. Like some fools go way out of the way just to make a trip out of it. We usually just want to go and party, so we just shoot straight there. You know what I mean? It's a 6-hour ride because we're like, I mean, I've done that ride plenty.
Our 6-hour ride is never a 6 hour.
Yeah, that's the thing too, because we all ride pieces. Like all these fools,
everyone's fucking shit broke.
All this shit's all fucking broken.
It took us like 12 hours to get there.
Yeah, it took way too long. Like you look over and now these fools are smashing deers, all fucking drunk. You know, like halfway in the middle of nowhere at some random gas station, and you have to gather them up and be like, "Come on, we gotta go. We can't smash another 30 rack in the parking lot." And you know, and you're like, I don't know, it's crazy. It always takes way longer than it's supposed to. But yeah.
Who'd you ride down there with? How many people you had in your crew?
I rode with this fool. I rode with this fool, Don. Well, with that North kid.
Don, Arizona, Northmore.
I was like fucking. It was like
Oscar.
It was like 10 of us, dog. It was like 10 of us.
Yeah.
Shit. But we met the other half at the border, and I'm sorry, my dog is going crazy. In Mexicali, we met those fools. Yeah, like in Mexicali, there was like another 6 dudes that we met.
Pistoleros.
Yeah, where I'm Pistolero brothers and shit. Met all those fools, and then we jammed out. I think a couple fools broke down on the way over there. So it always starts off with a big group, but somehow it always ends up with the same last little group of people. You know what I'm saying? So I think at the end of the day, it was like 10 or 15 of us that ended up going over there. We found a bunch of dudes on the side of the road. Just like we're always taking in orphans and shit. Like, yeah, fool, we'll get you there. You know, because it's Mexico and nobody speaks Spanish and you're the only Mexican fool. So like, you're the fucking translator. You're everything, dog. You know, you're like making sure the homies don't get ripped off. Like, these fools are over here buying beers for $10, and I was like, it's Mexico. It's supposed to be cheaper. Why would we be paying $10 for a beer, fool? Like, think about it, you know. And so you always have to be, yeah. So like when I go down there and shit, you always have to be like, fuck, I have to watch these fools. And they like to party and have a good time, you know what I mean? So it's always like, it's constant. It's like trying to live as dangerously, as safely as you can with these fools, you know? Cause like that's like all my
That's
homies like
funny.
so we're all like regular dudes, you know, like they're dudes from the neighborhood. Like my brothers all live in California and shit. And when I go out there to visit those fools, it's the same thing. Like it's just dudes building shit in their backyards with like Harbor Freight tools and whatever the fuck they can scrounge up. You know, these fools have families and kids and
Yep.
all kinds of shit. So we try to help each other as much as we can. Like if he needs like my homie with the transmission shaft that I need, or you try to barter whatever the fuck you got to do to get that shit going. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, sometimes we go on these long runs, it takes us twice as long because I spent all my money on parts. These fools have families and shit. They fucked up, so they can't afford to buy some good parts sometimes. So they gotta buy the cheap shit. You know what I mean? I buy the good shit as best as I can, so that way my shit's not on the side of the road and shit. These fools gotta be like, oh dog, I gotta buy diapers, and I'm like, oh that sucks for you, dog. Like, you know, I'm gonna go get some head work done or whatever the fuck. And unfortunately, yeah. So these are breaking down the whole way, and that's why it takes us so fucking long all the time. Like I told this, hey, your motor's smoking the whole way. It was smoking. I was covered in oil the whole way, fucking covered in oil from riding behind this fool. I was like, I don't want to ride behind you no more. I'm fucking covered in oil. Cause this shit, like, he had so much fucking his top end was just cooked. And I was like, bro, we have like 500 miles to go, like there and back. Should we just turn around now, or do you want to try to make it? No,
Hey,
we'll try,
made it there.
yeah, we'll try to make it until we get there. And like I said, like you don't need to be doing burnouts if you know your shit's fucked up. You
Like
know
I was there.
yeah. And
I was on autopilot, homie.
and I look over, and this was thinking he's doing a burnout, and the bike's not even in gear. Like I said, he was just revving it, you know. And then in the morning, he's like, "Oh, I think I'm out of gas doing those wicked burnouts." You know what I mean? But turns out the bike wasn't out of gas; it dropped the fucking valve. You know what I'm saying? And it's shit like that. Now you're like, all right, now we gotta try to figure out how our broke asses are gonna try to get this fucking bike back to the States, you know? Like I said, and then I'm a Mexican one, so I have to be like, hey dog, we need to find a ride, or I have to call some uncles or a cousin or whatever the fuck, you know? And
Luckily, we saved that girl before at the previous show.
Yeah,
we saved her.
There's a bunch of shit, dog, that like out there.
We got the ride back.
It's like when you're in Mexico, dog, it seems scary as shit because especially if you don't know. But the thing about it is the people are so helpful out there. You know what I mean? You'll be like, dude, how much to take my bike back to the border? And he'll be like, give me $20 and I'll get you there like in 30 minutes, whatever the fuck, you know? And next thing you know, like your bike is in the back of a fucking Toyota pickup truck, like just jamming down to the border. You know, and give the guy $20 and you're back on the States. And once you're in the States, you can figure it out. Yeah. Or that's how, you know, or like if I'm gonna go to Texas, I'll be like, hey dog, I'm going to Texas. And if something happens, you usually have some homie somewhere that helps you out or whatever the fuck. Same thing here. Like somebody's going to like Born Free, I'll usually get a call from somebody. Hey, fool, I need to fix something or I need to tighten something. I'm gonna swing by your pad. All right, homie, I got you. And then, you know, you have to do whatever you can, I guess. You know, whatever you can help them out with, get them back on the road. Because I don't know, it's just how all these fools are.
Yeah, what goes around comes around.
You know,
and it really does.
There's it's a different scene out here, like in the chopper community. I guess there's still like a little community left, you know, and it's like everybody knows everybody, and for the most part, like everybody's the same. They all understand, like, hey, this fool just needs to get by or whatever the fuck, you know. Or maybe the homie has a part that you need, and they'll be like, hey, fool, I'll trade you, or here, I'm gonna hook you up. Like the dude gave me that gas tank, for free. Like that's a sick ass gas tank. I'm like, joke's on you, fool. I'd have gave you $100 for it, but I'll take it for free, you know? And he was just really nice to give it to me for free. And a lot of people have done shit like that. Like, my homie gave me that rear wheel. And then, you know, like one homie gave me some handlebars and an ignition. Just shit like that. Like, the homie needed a fender the other day. I was like, yeah, this little lowbrow fender that I
We want to see that shit on the road, homie.
And didn't work. So I was like, take it, fool, it's yours. You know, I don't need two fenders. I only have one bike. I can put it on. You need to take it. And that's just, that's what I think
you know, I think that's like a unique thing to the chopper community because we get the same thing like all the way up here too. It's like, nobody charges you, you know, they're just like, yo, I got a front end, like you'll get me back later type of shit. But it's like, that's the way it used to be. That's the way it's gotta be too, you know?
I mean, that's the way for the most part that I've always seen it, that I've always like witnessed from the people that I've met, you know, like next weekend, if I have to go up to Payton and shit to see the homies, they'll be like, hey, we have a couch. You know, like go stay on the couch or whatever the fuck, and then you just boogie on wherever you're boogieing to. Like that's what I've always liked about it because it's always been like such a like a big family and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's always been like to me, I guess. And it's really small in Arizona, so it's crazy as fuck because everybody knows everybody. So, which is really good when you need to find parts for cheap.
Yeah, what do you guys got out there besides like the EDR? What else? What other shows? What other big shows do you guys like? What's the congregation like? What do you do?
So the Howlin' Pro, you know that one, right? Like the homie Tiny and all them put that one together. Like the Howlin' Pro show, that's gotten pretty popular now one too. For sure, Choptown and Corn Free. So like Choptown and
Corn Free is the shit.
Yeah, like Choptown and Corn Free are the two like those are the two main like shows you could say I guess here in Phoenix or like here in Arizona because we're not California, we don't have all those shows every fucking weekend, you know. And the shows that we do have, it's amazing because it's always all your homies, like everybody, the same people. You know who's gonna be there every time, and you still go. You know what I'm saying? Because it's family, dog. It's cool as fuck. And so Corn Free, the guy that used to put that on Shifty, he passed away sadly. The guy that used to put that one on, and I think they took that one. Like the homies all got together and took it over and shit. And I think they're gonna have it for sure. I think this one last year for him. And then Choptown, that's put on by the homie Long John. Those fools have it up north and shit, up like in Payson, which is nice because it's all like forest and shit up there. So it's cool to get out of the heat, you know, like out here. So we'll jam up north for that one. And then really like we only have like really like 4 or 5 little shows a year that's about it. So if I want to go to a show, I either have to jam out to California or like New Mexico, like run a Raton, try to go to that. That Four Corners rally, I'm gonna try to go to that one too.
Daytona next year.
Born Free, I have to go to that one because that's only a 6-hour ride, you know. So I'll go to that one and shit because there's a lot of bikes. There's a lot of cool bikes that I probably wouldn't be able to see unless I go to California to see those kind of bikes, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I heard
the scene out here is it's a little
different.
I'd say it's a lot like more like really close knit like out here, like the chopper stick, like the Arizona guys, the New Mexico guys, like the dudes like all the Four Corner area guys. We all go to each other's shit, you know, because that's all the shows we have. So they'll call us or let us know, hey man, we're gonna have a barbecue or we're gonna have this run or we're gonna have that run, and like they'll come to our shit and we'll go to their shit, you know, which is pretty cool, I think.
You guys, do you think you're going to make it up to New Hampshire for June 10th for our show?
Man, I've never even been up that way, dog. You know what? I quit my job, so I ain't got shit to do. To be honest with you, I don't have shit to do. My plan is
need to start a GoFundMe over here. You know what I mean?
Hey, shit. Hey, I just quit my job, dog. I was a heavy haul truck driver. I worked on a farm and shit, and I just quit my job. And I told this one, I was like, all I'm gonna do is just ride. I'm gonna get on my bike and I'm gonna pack it for like a month and a half, 2 months, and I'm just gonna boogie. I don't know where to, but I'll be cool, you know. I'll figure it out. Just like go out there, do some shit, and then kind of try to get this Panda done since I'm gonna have some time right now too, you know. Because I want to get this shit done and get some shit. I need to get some like I do polishing, like I told you, like metal polishing. And I want to finish up some little projects that I have with all that shit since I have a little bit of time on my hands right now. You know, yeah. So I mean, I don't know how far is that shit from here.
What's the?
It's like
what'd you say it was? The New Hampshire?
It's probably like 3 days.
Oh shit, easy, dog. Yeah, that ain't no problem.
Let's start now.
Yeah.
My bike's in Mexico.
So you guys have a lot of good shows over there though.
Leave
you guys have some good shows over there. Shit, I could. That's one thing that I want to do is go to like more shows and see different shit. You know, like I seen a lot of that shit that those guys are doing like in the Midwest with like those brake bikes and all that. I'm like, holy fuck, those things are sick as fuck, dude. Like those Midwest guys are fucking talented, doggy. Like I like all kinds of different bikes and shit, you know. And I see the shit they're doing. Like what's that dude's name? I think his name's like Al Emerson or some shit like that. that dude's fucking gifted. Like, you see these dudes building these bikes, you're like, fuck.
I like that Gusher Cycle
Yeah,
shit.
you know,
Yeah,
like
that shit, Tennessee shit.
yeah. I mean, to me, I geek out on that
where's
shit.
he
Like,
out
seeing
of?
build it.
Tennessee, Gusher Cycles.
Yeah, because like I'm a long bike kind of guy, you know. That's what I like, and it's cool as fuck to see like all my homies are building long bikes
We
too,
might
like
have
long
lost
ass bikes.
Joe.
Oh shit!
Can you hear us, Joe?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We can hear you now.
I can hear
Oh,
you
okay.
fine. Can you hear me? Okay, you good?
Okay. Yeah, it just dropped off for a second.
Yeah, my
Yep,
bad,
we're
dog. Like I
good.
said, the signal here ain't that great because like I told you, I live in the hood and shit. And the signal's a little fucked up out here. Um,
Hey,
but yeah, I like different
I
kinds
was in
of
the
bikes.
same boat like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, with your internet or what?
I got hillbilly internet out here. I had to fucking
Oh shit!
go out and buy like some 5G shit. Yeah, I'm out in
But
the sticks.
yeah, I don't know what kind of bikes do you guys like.
Well, I like your bike. I like that fucking Sportster. I think that's awesome as fuck that it's like built the fuck out and it looks like a rusted piece of shit sport. I thought it was like a
It
rusted piece of shit
does.
Sportster, but it's so fucking cool that it's built the fuck out. That's
It's a
that's
little
like
deceiving.
so that for me is like the shit right there. It's like because it's just a bike to ride. You know, like you
Yeah,
ride the shit out of it, you do burnouts on it, you pop wheelies on it. It's fucking sick, dude. That's like my
yeah.
favorite kind of bike. Just like it
I
doesn't
mean,
matter how
yeah.
dirty it gets. Nobody gives a fuck about the paint.
I've watched it twice, I think, since I've owned it. So,
What are you doing for? Are you doing a decent paint job on that panhead? What are you planning on that
yeah.
panhead? Are you
No,
gonna go
so
like the same motif?
no. So, like, I like to name on my bikes after weird Mexican songs. It's a weird habit that I have, and so I named this one Polvo Maldito, which means evil powder. You know, which in Spanish, I
Evil
guess
powder?
it literally means like evil cocaine. I guess like it's what the Spanish song is called, and that's what I named this bike after that song. And so I wanted to paint it. I'm gonna paint it this pro white for like. Oh no! Actually, I forgot I was gonna do that. I'm gonna paint it this sparkly. It sounds weird as fuck, but it's like the sparkliest, shiniest, fucking glitteriest pink you can see. Like you could find, just like fucking in your face pink, like sparkly, you know. And then these white flames, and in the white flames, I'm gonna do like oxyacetylene and torch, put like some black soap in the white part of the
Nice.
flames. And then I do polishing, so I'm probably gonna polish the full motor, transmission, and I'm gonna put a lot of stainless, like a lot of polished stainless on it, you know. So that's the plan. But like I said, it's been changing on me, so we'll see kind of what happens. Like I didn't want to paint a pink bike, but for some reason everything just kind of kept pointing to pink, and I was like, well, fuck, I guess I'm gonna have a pink bike. Which but I ride a Sportster anyway, so I already hear gay jokes about riding Sportsters all the time, anyways. So I don't give a fuck about having a pink bike because everybody's always said that my bike is a fucking, it's a girl's bike. They're like, oh, Sportsters are girls' bikes or whatever the fuck. So it ain't no
Fuck
different than
'em.
riding a pink bike, I guess.
Yeah, fuck them. Dude, so
Yeah,
yeah, the polishing, do you do that like I guess is that just you have a what is it, turd polisher is your
yeah, 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 yeah. Turd polisher because you can't polish a turd. They
so you
say.
do are you like open to polishing work or is that like a little side business you got going?
Yeah, so I was doing that on the side, just because, like I said, I could never afford chrome, so I got really good at polishing, and then people just started paying me to do it, and that's how I kind of fell into that trap, because it's a lot of fucking work, dude. It's dirty, fucking horrible work, but
Yeah.
it's worth it. It looks
What
really good if you do it right.
what do you got for tools for that? Are you doing all that shit by hand?
Yeah, I don't have like I
No.
everything. Yeah, bro, it's crazy. Yeah, I have a little DA sander, and I have bought a little Dremel. My shed got fucked up and my Dremel like rust and I couldn't use it anymore. So I was like, fuck that. So I just been using a little Black and Decker DA and then I finish everything by hand, dog. Everything is all done by hand.
Fuck.
But I like it better anyways because I feel like when it comes out just a lot more cleaner and all. But when you do something by hand, I feel like there's just a certain quality to doing it like that. So I went from like not being able to do it with machines because I couldn't afford the machines to like really learning to love to do it by hand. You know what I mean? Because like when you're doing it by hand, you're feeling all that metal. You know what I'm saying? Like you can feel all of it, and I just feel like it's a lot more truer than when you just use a machine and buzz it off. I feel like there's just a little bit better quality of doing it, you know. And I don't do a lot of pieces. I usually only do them for friends and shit like that. I do take work in, you know. I do a lot of guns for some reason. I don't know why, but people like
Oh
shiny
yeah,
guns.
I saw that shit. So yeah, tell us about what do you do for the gun? Is that all? That's all by hand too? And like, what kind
Yeah, for
of
the
gun
most
work
part.
do you do?
Honestly, bro, I just polish them. I just shine them up and shit. Cause sometimes, like I told you, I live in the hood, and I'll get sketchy ass dudes. Like, hey, can you polish this gun? And I'll be like, nah, dog, I'm good. Like, I know you, you know. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want that shit on my pad. And so,
He just wants the
like,
fingerprints on it.
yeah, probably, you know what I mean? Or you'll get like you get like a little Mexican homie from the hood, and he'll have like a fucking gold plated fucking whatever, and you're like, "Ah, no, I'm good. Like, and so I usually only do guns for like friends and shit that I know. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll do your
shit.
gun. I don't charge. I usually don't. I've never made $1, which is the worst part about owning this business. I've
Oh,
lost money doing it because it's usually all my homies and shit. So I never charge these fools. And I just be like, oh, we'll trade it. But like, give me some trade work or whatever the fuck, you know. And I'll
Oh
polish some
damn.
shit for the homie. Like the homie, I'm doing his iron head. He's divorcing an iron head and doing like a short
So
stir, whatever the fuck. And so I
yeah.
was like, dude, help me with my TIG work because he does really pretty work. TIG work, my homie Brizzo, and I'll polish your whole short stir. I'll do your cases. I'll do all your shit. You do all the welding on mine, you know. And so like shit like that, or you know, I have a homie who's a mechanic that rides bikes, and I'll be like, hey, fool, I'll polish this shit. I need a radiator. You know what I mean? And so like I've never actually made money, but it kind of works out sometimes, I guess. You know, like just trade for shit or whatever.
Yeah, the barter
But yeah, no,
system.
I think I lost money doing that shit. Now that I look
dude,
at
that
it, it
came out
hasn't really
nice
been
though.
a
I
great
saw
investment.
what was it, a Glock slide? I think I saw you do something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. A
Dude,
lot
that
of
came out
Glocks, dog. I
fucking
don't.
sick.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
I saw you made $300
Yeah,
once.
I made money one time. I think we went and drank it all that same day.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's fucking dude. That's a labor of love, polishing shit like that. Like, what the fuck? I don't even know what a Glock slide is made out of. Is that
So
steel?
yeah, a lot of times they're just like mild blued steel, or you'll have like stainless. Like once in a while, you'll get somebody that has like a really nice, like crazy slide, you know, made out of some like exotic metal or some shit. But for the most part, they're either gonna be stainless or like a mild steel material, you know, type of material, whatever the fuck. For the most part,
Adamantium.
yeah. Sometimes you'll get some shit out of unobtainium and shit. You know, they're like, fuck this shit.
Vibranium?
Yeah.
Some fucking Marvel shit, dude.
Like you know, like I told you, I don't have tools. I don't have good tools and shit. And this one homie was like, "Hey, fool, I want you to do my Glock slide." I was like, "Yeah, I got you." And this shit was cool. I was like, "I don't worry, fool. It's just we'll take care of that. We'll buzz that shit right off, you know." And it was a shit, and it was called like diamond coating because it's as hard as diamonds, you know. And I was just
Yeah.
sitting there with my Black and Decker fucking sander for like 2 days straight, never make a dent in it.
Yeah.
I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what I was wondering because like that shit's got to be if it's steel, it's got to be coated in some heavy ass shit. You know what I mean?
yeah, sometimes it is, but it's been cool as fuck because, like I said, I like the homies will have some sick ass shiny shit. You know what I mean? And
Yo,
like they got hooked up, you get hooked up. But it's a lot of hard, dirty work. I don't tell nobody to ever get into that field of work, that line of work ever.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's a lot of
yeah,
fucking work, dude.
yeah, dude. I won't even do that shit for myself. Like
Honestly, dude,
that's
if I
tough doing it by hand.
honestly, if I didn't do that shit, if I didn't know how to do it, I would. That's the one thing I would pay for to stand
How
out.
you polishing it? Do you got a you got a buffing wheel? What buffing
Yeah,
wheel?
so I have a little Harbor Freight buffer wheel that
Harbor
I
Freight.
bought.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I went and opened an account down the street at this it's called Tempe Abrasives, and they sell all the compounds. They sell everything you need. And I
Oh
just I
fuck.
just got really good wheels. Yeah, I bought really good wheels and really good compounds because the way that I was looking at it was like, if a wheel's spinning like 3,500 RPM, what does it matter what's spinning it as long as it's doing 3,500 RPM? So why does it need to be $1,000 buffer? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So then basically I just kind of adapted some shit, made sure that it worked, and it worked. And so that's what I've been
Gotcha.
using. Yeah.
So are you also like, I guess for the compounds, are you doing like high grit, like low grit shit, like 60 grit and stuff to get it like, to knock it down? Or are you
So
doing most of it with
so like
sandpaper?
so a lot of times what I do, bro, when I polish my shit, I'll usually finish it in like sometimes in 3,000 even. You know, and so when I'm wet sanding everything, I'll wet sand everything. Yeah, like I'll go down to like 3,000 on shit sometimes. Um, and so like I have these cases that I'm doing right now for the homie, and you start off really rough sometimes, get rid of all that casting because of Harley's old shit, like a lot of that old shovelhead shit, some of that panhead stuff, like the casings on them or the castings, whatever the fuck, are really rough. Like a 4-speed transmission case, like man, it's really grainy and gritty, but I like my shit to be like perfectly smooth. So to do that, you have to get into all the like the casting marks to get rid of any little pores, any little holes, anything. And I just sand everything. Like I said, I used to have a little Dremel, but now I just have a DA. And then I get in there and shit. I have a couple little bits and shit that I changed on that I used to have on that Dremel. And I just get everything to when I'm wet sanding it, when the water's on it, if it looks like chrome when just water's on it, then you're good. You see what I'm saying? So as I'm wet sanding it, you can kind of tell. And then usually I do like a first buff with like a brown Tripoli polish. And then I'll do like a medium cut. And then after I do a medium cut, I'll finish it with I'll get my own wheels. And they never have like the wheels that I want here, unfortunately. So what I do is I kind of have to cut them and make them my own wheels. And I've learned now how to make them, I guess, to where I just cut all the stitches out depending on how firm I need them to be. So if I need them to be really firm, I won't cut out too many of the stitches they sew on the side. And if I need something to finish it, like really, like you want that shine, I'll leave it really loose, and I'll finish it like that. And that's usually how you get like the best shine. But it kind of sucks sometimes because I'll do all this work on shit, like I'll work on the homies fucking whatever. I'll make it perfect like glass. And then next thing you know, this fool's jumping over milk crates on his chopper in the street, and I'm like, stop, fool, you're fucking that shit all up. So, yeah, because that shit actually
No
happens,
shit.
you know what I mean? These fools are gnarly and shit. And I'll be like, damn, bro, we did all that work just for you to fuck it all up.
He didn't appreciate it because he did it for free.
Yeah, no,
If he
it's all.
paid $4,000 for that shit, he wouldn't be jumping milk crates.
And see, and that was the worst part. When I first started, I didn't know what to charge. So I was like, $50.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I met some polishers and they were like, you're charging how much to do what? They're like, no, dude, you got to charge way more than that. But like I said, I haven't made a single dollar on it so far. And I think whatever we have made, we've spent it on beers or bike parts probably. Yeah.
That's why we do it anyways. No shit. So why do you take what's the difference between like a firm wheel with lots of stitching and like a fucking loose wheel? Why does that matter?
There's a lot of it to it because like, dude, honestly, there's so much shit like about buffing and shit that I didn't even know. Like you talk to some guys, like some guys would be like, you never clean your wheels, you know what I mean? Like you're cutting wheels. Other guys are like, and then also there's like this, some guys like this compound, some guys like that compound. Honestly, like the only thing that I can tell anybody like is that shit is a lot of work, but you can do it yourself. Like I started off with a Harbor Freight polisher, a Harbor Freight compound, and I'm not gonna lie, like if you do the extra work, the little couple extra steps to finish that shit, you could probably do a better job than the guy you're gonna pay to do it anyways. You see what I'm saying? Because those guys, because it's so much work. Most of those guys don't really do that great of a job, to be honest with you. They do production, it's not really quality. Because to sit there and go through all the fins like on a shovel head or something, that's a lot of time and work. Yeah. And these guys run big operations, so they're just gonna run. Yeah, they just run through it. You know what I mean? So if you're just a regular guy, go to Harbor Freight, buy a fucking $30 buffer machine, and it comes with pads. You spend $10 on some fucking cheap sandpaper and some compound, and over a weekend you could do a better job than the guy you're gonna pay, $500, $600, $700 to do it anyways. And that's on the low end, It just takes a little bit of time. Every day I always tell people, bro, this is what you need to buy. Get this, get that, get this, and your shit'll be good. Because they'll ask me to polish it, and I don't want to do their junk because my shit's fucked up too. I haven't even done my shit, So I'll be like, look, fool, just buy this. This is what you need. You can do it all on your own. You know what I'm saying? And so I always tell people, like, do it yourself. It's a lot easier, and it's a lot, And then you could do it as best or as not as good as you want. I guess, you know.
Right.
But
Yeah, that's the thing is like it can be as good as you want it to be. I mean, it's like, and most of it is the sanding, right? Because like once you get up to like
yeah, it's
fucking
all sandy.
2,000, 3,000, I mean, that's
Yeah.
it. Buffing is easy.
You know, my homie always says like I used to work at a body shop painting cars and shit, and he's like, I don't know why the fuck they call us painters. He's like, all we ever do is fucking sand shit. They should call us sanders. And I was like, it made so much sense. It's always most of the hard shit's always the sanding. You know, it's fucking it sucks.
Mm.
It's hard, fucking horrible work. You don't like nobody wants to do, but it looks good if you do it. Oh, but I was asking you, why'd you guys?
All right.
What made you fools want to start doing this this podcast? Like, because it's a lot of work.
So
So you must really
yeah,
like
dude,
it,
it's a fuckload of work. So been doing the podcast for 5 years now,
right?
and the reason we started was like because we started like so Rhino just came on the show. I had
Okay.
another co-host. He ended up leaving to do his own thing. But the show originally got started because we were building bikes and
Right.
didn't fucking know anybody. Did not know a person. Didn't know like where any of the shows were at.
Right.
So we're like, fuck it, let's do a podcast. And worst case, we'll document us building these bikes.
Right.
And man, it just like it took off immediately and built like that community, like what you were talking about.
Right.
Like everybody wants to help each other and do this and do that. And now it's like people that listen to the show, man, you can travel across the country and have somewhere to stay in every fucking state now. You know what I mean?
That's badass.
So we just just keeping it going, man. 5 years fucking strong, putting an episode every Friday.
Yeah. That's fucking. That's cool as fuck, dude. I mean, because like I said, I bet it's a lot of work that people don't see that shit every day, like or, whatever goes into it. I'm sure it entails a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's pretty badass for you
Right.
guys too, though. Like to do that shit, because like when you guys asked me, I was surprised, homie, because I'm nobody. I'm just a fucking kid from the south side, homie. Like who the fuck am I? And I'm like, oh, who the fuck are these?
Yeah.
Like, who wants to hear about me and shit? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. That's
Yeah.
pretty. I was thinking about it
So
earlier. I was like, that's pretty.
that's one thing that's one thing that like we try to do on this show is like
Right.
we try to keep it with like the garage fucking builder. You know what I mean? That way the
Right.
people
Right.
that
Right.
listen to it can relate to the motherfuckers they're hearing on here. You know what I mean?
Right. That's just what, like, I don't know, because I thought I was like, what the fuck, dog? Like, I'm nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that shit was pretty cool, because I'm like, well, these fools fucking don't, like they want to know about me, homie, and I'm nobody. So maybe if I, some other guy who might be tomorrow or next week, or I don't know how often you guys do these interviews and shit, might just be another dude just like me somewhere in some, like out in the middle of bumfuck
Yeah, man.
Egypt doing the same thing, which is pretty cool, honestly, when
Yeah.
you think about it, because I didn't really think about it like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty cool that you guys do that shit. You know what I mean? In my opinion,
Yeah, man. Just documenting it.
yeah,
Just documenting it. That way,
because like,
fucking, who knows? 30 years
yeah,
from
that's
now,
just
when nobody's
that's just sick as
fucking,
fuck.
when this shit isn't cool anymore and it fizzles out, people can still hear this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, too, like I noticed, like one thing is that in this shit, a lot of fools get set in their ways. Like they like what they like, and that's it. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
I'm like,
Yep.
like for example, like in California, the one thing that I don't like that they do is a lot of them fools build like a lot of like straight leg or wishbone type bikes, like that Purdue style bike, and that's just cool as fuck. But one thing that I've always liked about here in Phoenix is like you can see a bike that's built like that, or you can see some crazy ass fool on some long ass, crazy, funky ass bike. Like out here, it's a lot different. Like the dudes from Colorado, dudes from Utah, the New Mexico dudes, those guys are fucking insane. Like they're building some shit that makes
Yeah.
my shit look like it makes it look like small as fuck. I know this guy named AJ. His shit looks
Right.
like as long as a fucking school bus, dog. I'm like, what the fuck? He's just a dude out in the middle of nowhere building these insane bikes. And that's
Yeah.
cool as fuck. Yeah.
You got, how big is the chopper community like in Arizona? Is it pretty big or
Uh,
what?
it's gotten bigger. I would definitely say this shit's gotten a lot more popular lately. Um, it's it's definitely got a lot bigger, but at the same time, it's gotten kind of closer too in some aspect. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, because there's like a lot of new, like I'd say like younger dudes doing this shit. You know what I mean? And a lot of the homies are like, man, fuck those fools. You know what I mean? And I'll be like, dog, shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. these fools are the fools that are gonna keep doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? When we're not doing it, so give the little homies a chance and shit. So I always try not to hate on the little homies and shit, because I'm like, yeah, dog, do it. You know, like figure it out, because it's not like how it used to be, where fucking any fool with $300 could buy a shovel head at a swap meet anymore. Them motherfuckers are like $2,500. You know what I mean? And that's even a lot of money out here. You go to California, dog, and them motherfuckers are like, fools are getting like $5,000 for a Kono shovel head. I'm like, what the fuck planet am I on?
People are getting like fucking people getting like 7,000-8,000 for a cone out in the fucking Northeast.
Yeah, I bought a fucking flathead from a homie for $200 out of his trunk, a whole flathead motor for $200. He's like, take it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I live in Arizona. Like these fools, like parts are like they used to be abundant out here a lot, but then we started getting pillages and shit. Right? Like dudes were buying, sending shit like overseas. You know what I mean? Like fucking dudes would come in here and just fucking like buy whole collections from people and shit. Like just like, you know, they'd come by in vans and just buy a van full of fucking panheads back then, because we were dumb. Like these fools didn't know. They were selling panheads for fucking like $800, you know, and they're taking them to the Long Beach swap meet over the weekend and selling this shit for like, bam, $6,000. And then by the time we got hip to it, we were like, wait a minute, I can't afford to buy a panhead no more. Well, fuck, because we sold them all to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, so I told those fools, like, you got to take it easy on these fools, because we kind of fucked that shit up for them, because now these fools can't even afford to buy a shovel head because the prices are so high, you know? So I always tell them, like, all right, fool, whatever, he rides a fucking Honda. Okay, I get it, homie. You have a panhead. But you bought your shit for $300 back when we didn't know any better, you know what I mean? This fool can just afford a Honda. Let the fool have a Honda, you know what I mean? Like, let him do what he does. Yeah, it's so the chopper scene is really different, man. It's like kind of clicky out here, I guess, but not really clicky like that. Like we have, you know, the north side dudes, and then like I hang out on this side, and then you have the other guys who hang out like Mesa, like all these little areas. But we all go to each other's shit. We all help each other out, like as much as we can, you know.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But we all help each other for the most part, and it's always like nothing but love. You know what I'm saying? It's cool as fuck. And out here, like if you ride a Honda or you ride a Triumph or if you ride some shit, you're not gonna get really like fools don't really look at you different. You know what I mean? Like when I go to California, dog, and you know, like I roll up in a fucking Sportster, like a hardtail Sportster to Born Free. My shit's a dime a dozen, dog. Like you won't even be able to see it out there in the sea of fucking hardtail Sportsters. You know, like this shit's a dime a dozen out. Like out here, I feel like we appreciate the little bit of culture of it. Like we're not a little bit, because we do have like a long motorcycle culture in Arizona. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one thing that I have realized, that we do have a lot of Arizona like biker culture out here for the most part, but it's just not as clicky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like other places is really clicky, dog. Unless you don't have a panhead or a knucklehead, then fools ain't gonna talk to you. You know what I'm saying? You're just you're just a dude on the Honda, but I was a guy on the Suzuki Boulevard. You know what I mean? On the little 650 Savage at one point.
You guys got that MMI out there in Phoenix, though, right? So you got.
Yeah, that's the thing, bro. Right? Everybody's a mechanic out here, though. Everybody's a mechanic. Everybody's a fucking Harley mechanic. I'm like, dog, my shit, it's old. You don't want to work on it. It's a piece of shit, you know. But
no, it's funny because when I was out in Phoenix, when I was living out in Phoenix, my buddies they were going to MMI. They were from like fucking like Oregon and fucking Salt Lake City or some shit. But I didn't ride a bike back then. So they had like these Harleys and shit, and I had a goddamn scooter. And I was like, dude, riding a motorcycle and fucking it was a 250 though, bud. So
that's cool as fuck.
But but they'd let me roll with them. They'd let me roll with them.
You got that's what you could have at the time. But no, everybody here has gone to like MMI at some point in their life, because a lot of people like stay here in Arizona, you know, because people come from everywhere, dog, to go to that school. And you can ride here year round, which is cool as fuck. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people just end up staying. So you meet a lot of guys from MMI. Yeah. I'm surprised you guys didn't go. Everybody fucking goes to MMI at some point in their life. I even thought about going, you know what I mean? But
especially when you start out with bikes and you're like, what the fuck is this thing? You're like, I gotta go to school to learn about it, you know?
Yeah. Because I was like, fuck, I'm telling you, bro, like, it's crazy that I got into motorcycles, because nobody in my family, nobody rides motorcycles, like, at all. Like, I'm a first-generation American, homie. You know, like, my parents came here from Mexico, dog. fuck, my parents didn't think their son was gonna be some dirty biker. They thought like this was gonna be a lawyer or a doctor, you know. And I'm like, what's up? I'm gonna ride bikes and shit, you know. And so all my family, all my cousins, they're all like,
This is
you know, these fools are like, they're all like achieving ass fools, dog. And I'm just like the cousin that's a biker out here. So it's even weird that I even got into bikes, you know. But it was the coolest thing that I ever did. I feel like in my life, you know. Like I feel like been a really sense of community and my friends out here and shit. Like as far as like in the little culture.
Maybe I'll drop.
And I don't know. I've always liked that shit, you know.
And cut all this shit out.
He's back.
Oh, yo, can you hear us, Joe?
Yeah, I could hear you. Yeah, you good.
Okay, we're back.
I'm telling you, dog. I'm sorry. It's probably my internet.
That's fine. Like I said, let he who has, good internet cast the first fucking stone or some shit. Because 2 weeks ago, my shit was the fucking problem. So.
Oh yeah, but what's up with you guys? What kind of bikes do you guys like to ride though? You guys like just like hardtail choppers, like a little bit of everything, like. Do you guys mostly just do like just choppers? Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's what's up, dude.
Yeah,
that's all I like, pretty much most part too. Know.
I built a shovel 2 years ago with the swing arm, and I fucking hated it. I sold it immediately.
yeah. I don't blame you.
I fucking hated it, man. I hate.
You got a hardtail them bitches. I always thought hardtail bikes were the best.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
There's some cool ass swing arm bikes though. You could have a cool swing arm bike, but I don't know. I've always felt like for it to be a chopper, it's got to be hardtail. Or else not really a chopper, because what else?
I think it has to be hardtailed.
That's me. I don't know. I might be wrong, but that's just my opinion. And
no, I mean, I'm with you on that. If it has springs or struts, or I think it has to be hardtailed.
Yeah,
and that opens up a whole fucking
it's can of worms.
You build it is totally different. Yeah, because you have to change fucking everything to accommodate that fucking rear end.
I mean, like
swapping out a front end is easy. Swapping out bars is easy. Swapping out foot controls is easy. Getting that fucking rear wheel to work on a hardtail that either you made or you bought and welded on, like that shit's fucking hard. And then you have to customize everything else.
Right? Yeah, it's a lot of shit, dude. It's like building a hardtail bike. It's a lot of shit, but fuck, it's fun as fuck. You know what I mean? Like you're building bikes with your homies with like parts you're putting together and shit. Just getting drunk, having a good time in the garage, whatever the fuck. And a lot of my homies, we like to get rowdy. We party pretty hard, you know. And so we'll fucking party, work on bikes, drink beers, like just it's insane sometimes, you know. It gets kind of crazy, and it's like the funnest time of my life. And you're building cool ass shit. You're learning how to do shit together, you know, learning how to weld, learning how to this, learning how to that, whatever. Like it's cool as fuck. I think it's like the best thing to do. Yeah, my sister asked me one time, she's like, are you ever going to be normal? And I'm like, normal how? I'm like, I thought I was normal. She's like, Joe, you have a fucking motorcycle in your living room. Like, you're not normal. You know what I mean? She's like, that's not right. And I was like, I asked her, I was like, well, what do normal people do? And she told me, and I was like, that's fucking boring as fuck, dog. Like, I'm supposed to work all fucking week and not build bikes with my friends and ride and shit. You know what I mean? To like go to Applebee's on the weekend? No, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna fucking build bikes in my living room.
For the bike though, I mean, with a 40 over, is that thing always inside, or do you just push that outside, or is it like, do you have to make eggs and shit, bro, like straddling that fucking thing?
So I took the front end off because it was so long, but the thing was that when I put it together, like I wasn't really thinking about that I wasn't gonna be able to take it back outside. You see what I'm saying? I was only thinking like, oh, I'm gonna build this bike at whatever I need to do, and I don't have a shop, but it's hot as fuck outside. It's Arizona. It's like 100 degrees and like something already. So I was like, man, do I really want to build a bike in the heat? Or should I just fuck up my carpet, and when I'm done, I'll put wood flooring in it, because my carpet's gonna get destroyed if I'm welding in an RV, because I live in an RV. Like, if you look around me, I live in a fucking RV. And I was like, if I'm welding and shit, my carpet's gonna get destroyed inside of my RV. I was like, and I'm gonna fucking destroy the inside of it. It's gonna get ruined, you know. I was like, but if I build the bike,
Oh
as long
yeah,
as I promise.
are you plugging that bitch into 110 or do you got a 220
I
out?
plug it right here, right next to my AC cooler, right here. I have a little window unit in my window, and I just plug that shit in, and then I'll have my homie stand by the breaker, and every time we blow the breaker, we'll just flip it, bam, and then we'll just keep welding, and that's how I've been welding inside of my living room. You know,
No shit.
yeah, and then I kind of put it together, and I didn't realize that I wasn't going to be able to get it out, so I've been slowly taking it apart to build it outside. You know, but it kind of sucks because it's hot as fuck outside, and I'm like, I think I'm just gonna keep building it inside right now, and then take it
This
apart,
is a
put it, and then
shovel
when
that I
it's
built.
completely completed together, I'll take it outside.
Oh
I don't know
shit,
what
yeah.
happened there.
Can you
Yeah,
see?
that's
Yeah, I can see you guys just fine.
Oh, he's sharing his screen.
Oh shit, okay. Oh,
yeah,
that's your shovel
that's the
head.
one that that's the one that I built
Yeah,
and I got rid of.
that's sick as fuck. I like that blue
I
too.
just
That's a
couldn't
pretty
I
blue.
couldn't fucking do it, man. It felt weird like sitting on top of the bike. Not a fan.
Really?
Yeah, I hated it.
But you know what? Yeah, yeah. But that's a pretty color blue. I like that blue actually.
Yeah,
Like
the
that
blue was
metallic
dope.
blue. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That's. I
all
mean, they're still
candy.
good looking bikes. And people might hate me or whatever, but fuck it. I said it, dog. Like to me, if you're gonna ride a chopper and call it a chopper, like it's gotta be a hardtail. I'm sorry, I don't
For
know,
sure.
but that's a pretty looking bike. It's kind of hard to fucking not like something like that. And then,
Right.
have you ever rode like a new bike,
Yeah,
like a newer
yeah.
Dyna or something?
Yep.
I rode one the other day. Those things ride fucking awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
back wasn't
My
all
dad
hurting and
let
shit after just going around the block.
yeah. For my anniversary the last year or the year before, my dad let me take his road glide for the weekend
Oh
and I was like,
shit,
"Oh my god, dude."
yeah, that shit. Those things are badass, right? And you're not
They
stopping every
ride
60
fucking
miles to put gas in it.
yeah, they ride really nice.
They do. You know what's funny? Because like I bought this Dyna from a homie, like, and I've never had a Dyna. I don't know shit about Dynas. And I was like, man, these things are comfortable as fuck. Like I could see why people like, like these. It's cool as fuck. I haven't rode it actually yet. I rode my other buddy's Dyna, but I just got that Dyna, and I'm thinking right now, I'm like, do I want to cannibalize it and use the parts off of it? Because it's a FXDX, so it
Yeah.
has like the cool like dual caliper front end on it. And I was like, dude,
Yep.
that shit would look pretty hard on the Sportster. Because I don't know, I've never had a bike that wasn't a hardtail before, but I want to kind of keep it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my
Yeah,
sport. This is what I ride every day.
let me see
That's
what
what
you
I
got
normally
here.
ride.
Oh, see, that's pretty as fuck though. Yeah, that's nice, dog. That's a pretty
Right,
bike.
you gotta
That's
show
almost
them the
like a super.
picture. Yeah, that one that I love that fucking bike. That was
What
my
kind of
dad's first
choppers do you
bike.
guys build over there though? Like, what kind of
I
shit do
really
you
like
guys like to
the
build out that way?
I'm a big fan of like the skinny shit. I like the skinny bike 6 over. The typical
Kind of
like
like left
fucking
brake.
yeah, like Frisco fucking
Yeah, I know
six
what you mean.
over
Those things
type
are pretty
bike.
sick.
Rhino, he just built a dope one. He built like we call it on the East Coast, call him like a tough guy bike. The ones that are like
Oh
real
yeah.
low, wide front end. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
His is
Yeah.
dope as fuck. Yeah, his is
Yeah.
super dope.
I did I got an 03 Sporty that's like 8 over Springer, and then
Okay.
I just finished up my shovel head. It's a 78 FXS, and it's got like fucking dirt bike knobby tires on it, and a
That's sick
four
as fuck,
under,
dog.
yeah,
That
Wu
shit's
Tang
sick as
paint
fuck.
job.
That's pretty dope. I like what do they call those, like dirt stores or whatever, kind of like that.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean
that's what they
it's
call.
like
Yeah, those things are
it's
sick.
definitely, dude, actually I just took it out yesterday for the first time, like for a long ride, because I've been like doing shakedown runs and shit's shaking off like fucking nuts and bolts and foot pegs and calipers and
Yeah.
shit. And I took
Yeah.
it out
Yeah.
like all day yesterday and fucking ran like a champ. Well, actually, it kind of
But
ran
you
like shit, and some stuff did fall off, but I mean, it fucking got me back to where I was going and back, and I was out for fucking like 12 hours. So
But where you guys are at, you guys can't ride all the time, huh? Like year round and shit, because you guys get like snow and shit, right?
We get a little bit of snow. Yeah, I think I'd say like we're probably good 9 months out of the year to ride.
Yeah, that shit sucks. What
Depends
do
on
you
how
do?
bad the
Like,
winter is.
yeah, because I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, that's crazy. I was like, I can't imagine living somewhere where I just can't get on my bike and ride. You know what I mean? And just take off. Um, but I was thinking about that when you guys said earlier, when you guys are all the way the fuck out there. I'm like, fuck, I think it snows over there like a lot. You know?
Yeah.
Well, that's
I
when
was
we
just, I
built
was just like, what
bikes.
do you
Yeah,
think? Yeah, that's the thing though too, which is kind of
and
cool.
that's the
'Cause
timeline
I
too,
usually
because
just
you
think,
go, all right, fucking first snow, and then you're just like you're in there until at least April. April is crunch time.
yeah,
May
that's
is
when it's time
riding
to get.
time. Yeah,
That shit
so
must
you know
be hard.
exactly how
Dog.
long you got.
But that's cool though, because like you said, that's your project time to work on whatever you got going on. You know, you guys are
Yeah.
you guys building like like anything new right now?
There you go, Ryan.
Oh, word. There we go. Oh, that's a
Oh,
good one. Oh,
he's,
who took
he's
that's a
busting out the
professional one.
project. Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, so that's the shovel he just finished building.
That shit's sick as fuck. I've always liked how those like 2-in-1s, like those upsteps like that, like they look tough as fuck on those things.
Yeah.
Dude, those are the dirty biker Paco, the
Yeah,
squish pipe ones. Dude, I was gonna build my own, but then I saw those and I was like, that. Well, that's what I would build anyways. Only it's dipped in chrome. I would have I would have just fucking wrapped that shit.
that
But
shit
yeah,
sick
that shit
as
sounds
fuck, dog.
nasty.
That shit, I bet
Yeah.
it does. I didn't want to build this thing up too much, like the panhead. I didn't want to get too crazy with it because I'm a little guy. So I was like, if I build some crazy ass like stroker panhead, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to kick it over. And so that was always been
Yeah.
one of my biggest fears because like, bro, I'm 5'6", you know what I mean? I'm not a big dude, like 5'7", 5'6". Like, I'm not a big dude by any means and shit. And I like big motors. I like fucking race motors. And so when I was building the panhead, I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna fucking do this and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have the fastest fucking panhead around. And then I was like, oh yeah, fuck, I forgot. I gotta kick this thing over. And so that's why I never built it like so big and shit. You know what I mean? So when I see a lot of bikes that look like that and shit, or like the tough guy fucking like stroke or shovel heads and shit, I'm like, fuck, that's tough as fuck. But I don't think I'd be able to start it. So
Yeah.
I just built this. I just built this one to an 80-inch, and that's what I've kept this one, the
Oh
panhead and
fuck.
shit. Yeah, and I'm just welding the kickstand, the kicker like a little bit taller. I'm gonna make it a little bit taller to get a little bit more leverage on it because
There
it's
you
a little
go.
hot. It's got some work on
Oh
it,
yeah,
you know.
have
Yeah,
you
we
had
did
a
some
kick
head work
bike?
on it. We did got some shit.
Is that your first kick only? But is it a kick
Yeah,
only, or are you
yeah,
gonna
it's
do
my first
electric?
kick only bike. Yeah, it's my first kick
Oh
only
shit.
bike, and like that's another thing that like I've been trying to learn as much as I can from a lot of these older biker dudes. And there's one dude that I know who's about my size. He's like, "Hey man, let me tell you." He's like, "Some words of advice." He's like, "Whale that shit a little bit higher, make it a little higher, be a lot easier to kick." He's like, "Trust
Mm.
me, fool, coming from another little dude." He's like, "It'll save you a lot of kicking, dog." And I was like, "All right, cool," and it made sense. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's why. But when I see a lot of those bikes, and these would be like, oh, this is like a big like 96 like 6-inch stroker fucking shovel head, you know. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could kick that fucker over, but I'll try because I've been launched over those motherfuckers before. It sucks. You know what I'm saying?
No shit.
And yeah, when you don't know how to kick a bike, like this is my first kick only bike, but a lot of my homies have kickers and shit. You know what I'm saying? And even since when I was like younger when I was doing this shit. So imagine being like 19, like 100 pounds, and you're trying to kick the homie stroker over. You know, the shit would just fucking send me flying over the handlebars.
Yeah, yesterday was my first fucking time stalling out in traffic at a red light and
Oh
having to kick
yeah.
that bitch over. That fucking
Oh,
sucked, dude. All the
dude,
cars,
that
Dude,
they
shit
kicking
turn
at a
sucks.
red
screen
light
and you're just like,
sucks, bro.
yeah, dude. Fucking
That fucking
brutal.
sucks. That fucking sucks. Do you have like foot and all that shit too, or what? Is that why?
No, yeah, I'm still
No.
fucking with the car, but I'm still like working shit out. And I don't know what the fuck happened, but I stalled at this one light and it was just like, yeah, I had to kick it over with everybody watching
Cause
me.
like
That makes it even harder
it's
too.
tough. that shit's tough, dude. Doing that shit, like this one's gonna be like like a foot clutch, like like hand shift. I rode him before
Yo.
and shit, but but like at 40 over with some narrow ass handlebars, like I don't know how well it's gonna do. So the only thing that I'm gonna do is
Dude.
I'm running like a soft tail brake caliper, and then I'm just running a Harley factory front brake. I'm just running it to the rear, so the rear brake's just on the hand, and then you don't have no foot,
Yeah.
Oh,
like
no
there's no foot brake.
shit.
And so then you could go up a hill, dog, and just like that, and do the whole thing. It'll cost you like you could buy one of those like one of those front brake reservoirs at a swap for like $50-$60. You know what I'm saying? And
So
you're
no rear brake, but you'll just have the front brake that goes to the rear.
Yeah,
That's fucking
and
cool.
it's cheap as
That's
fuck
gonna
to
be
do
cool
it.
shit.
Cause like every time I go to Born Free, there's that big ass hill you have to go out of, like when you're leaving their little show, and it's a gnarly ass hill, and you see all these fools with these long ass bikes, and like they're trying to go up the hill but release the brake at the same time with their other foot, and you're just like, oh fuck, I don't want to do that. That looks awkward as fuck. So my
Yeah.
homie Charlie Nomad, he has his rear brake on his front brake set up. And he's like, yeah, dude, you could do the whole fucking thing for nothing. So I was thinking maybe I'll do it like that, and then I'll have the foot clutch and like the hand shift, but then I just don't have to worry about braking with the other foot. So I thought it made sense at the time, so I think that's what we're gonna try to do. But it's just little shit like that you learn, you pick up from dudes. Like and like I said, I'm not that tall, so I want to be able to flat-footed. So I figured maybe a handbrake would be a good idea for a little short motherfucker like me, shit. But yeah. I don't
That is a
know.
good idea.
Yeah, it's I try, man. Like I told you, I don't know why you guys wanted to interview me. I'm just a regular dude. This is just shit, like everyday shit, I guess. I think it's
Dude,
cool that somebody thinks it's cool. You know what I mean?
We're not like fucking celebrities either, dude. I'm just a regular dude.
Oh no, I know.
Octa's just
No,
a
I get
regular
that.
dude.
Yeah, no, I get that shit. It's just.
You're definitely. I would say you're definitely cooler than me. Your Sportster's
Oh no,
definitely cooler than my Sportster, and your
oh, dude,
Panhead's
you're good.
already cooler than my shit. So.
Because like it's crazy, like Instagram and all that shit. Like it's insane how much more like connected you can be. But like seeing other shit. Because like I told you, like a lot of people don't like. I see these videos of these guys in Indonesia and shit with these little mopeds. And I'm like, holy fuck, what the fuck?
Killing it.
And I'm like, that guy's doing over there what I'm doing here. But whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so like I'll look at that shit. I'm like, holy fuck, those little moped things are fast. Or I was watching these other guys. They're putting turbo little fucking like foreign car motors in these little boats, racing the fuck out of those. Like Instagram's it's been pretty cool, like in that matter for me, It's like you guys I already showed you guys that I'm super horrible with technology, and like I could use that, and that's like the one way that I can figure shit out. I was like, that shit's cool as fuck. Or I'll see bikes a lot of times. I'll sit there and look at some of these like crazy fucking gnarly bikes that some guy in the middle of nowhere is building, and you're like, holy fuck. There's a lot of talented builders out there, dude. Like I'm not a builder by any means, I don't like I get down with the polishy shit, but I'm not a motorcycle builder by no means. I build my shit, you know what I'm saying? I have a lot of respect for a lot of those dudes that build that shit, that do this shit day in and day out. I think that shit's pretty amazing, and like that's pretty cool, There's a lot of talented guys out there that are like real motorcycle builders and shit. And like yeah, that shit's sick as fuck. I want to get there at some point and try to broaden my skills so I can keep doing this shit. Hopefully, But yeah, there's just so many cool ass fucking bikes, dude. You get to see that a lot of these little shows, but just like some random ass things that people are building in their garages, or like there's a lot of cool shit right now going on, like with motorcycles. Like, thankfully, that's one thing that I will say. It's like it's been a big breath of fresh air to see like so many fucking like kids on this Instagram shit, like just building different cool ass shit that I'm like, holy fuck, that's cool as fuck. Like I seen somebody sent me a video. Somebody made a starter out of a shotgun shell or some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you put a shotgun shell.
That was fucking nuts, dude.
I was like, what fucking maniac is sitting at home all day thinking, you know what? I'm gonna put a shotgun shell in this bitch and start it like that.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, that's cool as fuck, dog. You can't tell me that shit. Like that is kind of like to me. I'm like, holy fuck! It kind of pushes you to make cool shit, you know? Like how I think, or you just meet some of these dudes who are gnarly. Like there's this one guy I was talking to the other day, a homie of mine. His name's Velarde. A lot of fools know him. He's from New Mexico. He's crazy as fuck. There's this whole group of dudes who I know who ride choppers, but they're stampeders. You ever heard of you remember the old stampede run? Like they used to have this gnarly ass race where they would race from like California to like somewhere on the East Coast or some shit. And it used to be done by the I think it was like the Horseback Street Chopper and like Charlie Nomad and all those dudes used to do that shit. And you meet these guys whose like one purpose is to race from one coast to the other coast or whatever the fuck in the shortest amount of time. And the only rule that they had, I think, was that it had to be a rigid like chopper of any make, any build, or some crazy shit like that. And they did these races for years. And you meet these guys, and like you could tell those guys are different, they're like at another level. Like a lot of guys are like, oh, 1K in one day, you know. And these fools are like, oh, homie, I just crushed 1,300 miles on a hardtail chopper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you look at those dudes and you're like, holy fuck. And that's inspiring as fuck. Like these dudes ride these gnarly ass choppers, or did at one point, from coast to coast, you know? It was like, there's a lot of cool shit to see right now, I feel like, you know? It's a lot different. Some shit's different. I don't like everything. I'm sure you guys don't like all the shit you guys see either, you know? But it's like, it's
dude,
not
I'm
for everybody.
Straight hate.
Like,
I'm a straight up hater, dude.
oh,
I look at shit and I'm like, fuck that.
I'll share you. Now you look like a nice guy, bro. What are you talking about?
No, I think it's like, no, I like fucking everybody's doing their own thing, and that's how it should be. It's just like fucking do whatever the fuck you want. That's what this is all about, anyways. You know.
Yep.
Or
it's not my cup of tea, but I don't give a fuck. None of my fucking, you know, not my beeswax, but
yeah. And like I said, I'm not a Sportster, so I don't really have a lot of room to talk about people, you know.
I hear that.
Dude, we got 3 Sportsters here, dude. We're all riding Sportsters. Yeah. Fuck, I love Sportsters. Fucking awesome. I love shovelheads. I love all. Yeah. I love the fucking panhead.
That was my first Harley that I ever bought, dog, and I love that bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one thing that a lot of folks ran into regret. They're always like, I always regret selling my first Harley. So that was my first Harley, and I never wanted to sell it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And instead, I just made like every horrible financial decision that I could make, and put a lot of money into a bike that's not worth it. You know? Yeah, unfortunately. I know, but it's fun as fuck, dude. I mean, like, when you're on that thing, you're just like in second gear, and you just give it a little bit too much gas, you know, and the front end just starts lifting off the ground. You're like, there's something about that. Or like, when I line that shit up,
is an 83, so I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I weigh fucking 250 pounds, so my shit doesn't lift off the ground. Gravity on this fucking planet is not conducive to fucking wheelies with my body type.
I'm telling you, like, when you ride something fast like that, it's that fast and that loud, it's, man, fuck, it just does something to you. Like, when you're just ripping on that fucker and you can just see it condense the air and, like, atomize it and suck it in, like, it looks like smog, or like fog. Like, it's breathing in that much air, you know, especially when it's cold out in the morning. Or you hear that cam and it's, you know what I mean? Like, you just hear that real cam of just thump. Sounds like it's going to turn off and then it kicks back on. Or crackle of like nitro, like just like little things like that. To me, that's like, fuck, that gets my heart going, you know? It's just, I don't know, to me, I feel like that's what a fucking chopper should do. Like, it should instill fear in motherfuckers when you're ripping that shit, you know? There should be like, oh, this crazy motherfucker's coming, you can hear him. You know, like, and I feel, and it sucks because a lot of them, like I said, they're just pretty bikes, and that's cool. You just want to build a pretty bike, but I don't know. I feel like I'd like to see more other faster like choppers, you know? Yeah. Like, there's some badass dudes out there doing it, but it's like, fuck, everything's a race bagger now. You know what I'm saying? Half the guys that I race now they're all race bagger guys, the guys that I race on the street. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when you see a piece of shit chopper, like you said, and this guy's got like 50 grand into a bagger, he's like, oh, I got this. And then it turns out he doesn't, you know? But sometimes you see these little other Sportsters. Yeah, you run into I'll run into some Sportsters sometimes, and like, and next thing you know, homie's right next to you keeping up, and you're like, oh fuck, okay.
It's always cool, the Sportsters that are fast as fuck.
I think this dude, these dudes from Lady Hump used to have a shirt that was like Sportsters are like prison shanks, small, fast, and deadly. You know, and I was like, holy fuck, they are. Uh,
All
Oh,
right,
I
all right.
love that.
So, all right, we got to end on that.
hey, I'm sorry if I was too stoned and shit the whole time. My bad, dog. But I hope I gave you
No.
guys a good show. Like I told you, I'm not very interesting. I'm not that much of an interesting person, but I hope I give you guys a good time. You know, or at least a look
Dude,
into
this
what I
was
do every
great.
day.
No, really appreciate it, and
You're good.
appreciate you fucking hanging in there and fucking getting through all this fucking technical bullshit with us.
I'm
But
sorry.
hang
Yeah,
on
like I
for a
said, I'm
minute
sorry if
because
I just talked a lot.
nah, dude,
I
it's good to
yeah, I
talk
shook
on a
my.
podcast. That's good.
I've never been on one,
We're
but I
gonna do.
appreciate. No,
Yeah, we got a couple of sponsors to shout out, and then we got a final question for you, Joe. So hang on with
what's
us.
that?
Well, first off, we got to thank the motherfuckers that make this show possible. And Loctite has them all because he's organized like that, right?
No, I'm not. I got him, but I'm not organized. Up first, we got shopshit.com. The homie Chicken Fried Chop has been rolling with us since the motherfucking beginning. Get over to chopshit.com. Check out all the shit he's got. He is slinging parts from all the local builders across the motherfucking country. So go check him out. Chicken Fried Chop is on Instagram and chopshit.com. Next, we got Dan at No Life Paintworks cranking out the dopest fucking paint jobs on the East Coast. You heard it here first. From Dynabro shit to baggers to choppers, he will fucking get your bike looking right. So hit him up at No Luck Paintworks on Instagram. Next, we got Lowbrow Customs. Tyler's got his goddamn hand in everything. He supports every show across the country. He's setting fucking land speed records, making YouTube videos, and you can build a whole goddamn bike from lowbrowcustoms.com. So go check them out. Check them out on Instagram, their YouTube channel, and tell them that the Low Life Chopper Podcast sent you, and we need that goddamn code. Next, we got Steve at Deadbeat Customs, the creator of the Deadbeat Retreat, where all low lives go to die. If you have not made it to the retreat yet, make sure you get out there this year and check out deadbeatcustoms.com. They have parts for everybody, for the chopper dudes, the Dyna Bros, helmets, luggage, whatever the fuck you need. He's got it all. Make sure you use code LOWLIFE at checkout to save some fucking money. And last but not least, we got Steel City Blacksmithing, twisting every piece of metal he can get his fucking filthy paws on. He's twisting up some dope ass invaders right now. If you got the cash, go grab some of those and tell him the boys from the Low Life Chopper Podcast sent you. Whew, that was a mouthful.
Damn, dude. That was good. You crushed it.
All right, let's hear the final question.
Joe, we got one more question for you, okay?
Okay.
Would you rather... You ready?
Yeah.
Would you rather fart every time you take a step or shit the bed every full moon?
Now, how many full moons are there in a month?
I don't know.
Because if I'm only going to shit myself like once a month, I think I could live with that. Having a fart every day, because then like...
No, every time you take a step. Like
every time you take a step, you fart? Oh, no, bro, I'll shit the bed every full moon. Yeah, fuck that. I feel like if you fart every time you have a loose booty hole and shit, I'm good. Like, I'll shit the bed.
Fuck yeah, I love it.
How many full moons are there in a year? Maybe a couple?
Yeah, probably not that many. Probably not that many.
Yeah.
Rhino can't pull it together.
Yeah, that was fucking great. Hey, Joe, really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on.
Dude, thank
and
you. I hope I did all right.
Oh, dude,
yeah, man. Hey, hit us up when you finish that pan.
Yeah, I've never done a podcast, so I'm gonna try to, homie. I'm gonna try it. We'll get it done. We'll get it done. If I don't shit the bed every full moon, I'll try to get on it.
Hit us up.
Hey, no. I think another 6 months. I think like another 6 months will be good. Like 6 more months, I think we'll
Make sure you hit us up. Let us
we'll
know.
have it running and shit. Absolutely, man. You guys have a good one. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. I really do.
Really appreciate it, bud.
All right,
Later.
Bud.